tragedy and hypocrisy. We'll talk about it on the other side of the intro.
Tape playback of what was happening here. This is moments ago. This is when they were putting a body onto the stretcher of one of the officers here. So viewer discretion is advised, but we wanted to bring you this tape playback as we were getting it in. Okay, now Fox News is reporting suspect drove into the Capitol officers and had a knife when they exited the car. That's something new that Fox News is just reporting. Suspect was shot after hitting the officers. Fox News also reporting that as well. You're taking a look here of how it all unfolded moments ago within the last hour here. Critical situation as they were taking. That could have been the suspect right there. That could have been the suspect there that they were taken away, because that suspect was shot. But this is, viewer discretion is always advised, everybody, and sometimes, we get...
What's going on, folks? Black Pill Red here. I have a couple of things I want to chat about. One is this situation here. U.S. Capitol shooting suspect was a follower of the Nation of Islam. I mean, that's nothing I would lead a story with, especially in a shooting situation when you have loss of life. But I see what they were doing. It's misleading, but with a lot of people categorizing the Nation of Islam as a terrorist organization or a hate group, that's why they led with that, because they're trying to color the situation up. Anyway, the suspect in Friday's shooting at the U.S. Capitol was a self-described follower of Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam. Now, this is the paragraph right here that sparked my attention. Okay? Check this one out. Let me highlight it for you. 25-year-old Noah Green was identified by police as being from Indiana. He was shot to death by police after he allegedly rammed a car into the two officers at the barricade outside of the U.S. Capitol and then emerged wielding a knife. Now, here is the key words that I want you to focus in on. They emphasize this. He was shot to death by police, but after he allegedly rammed the car into the officers. Allegedly. He was the only person in the vehicle driving. So who else could have been? But this is their way to diffuse the fact that it was a person of color operating the motor vehicle. Now, let's just read a little bit further about this situation. Okay. According to the New York Times, Greens posted on Facebook about the end times and that the Antichrist, and made a donation to the Nation of Islam on March 17th. Here's right here. It says the Nation of Islam has been designated as a hate group in America by the Southern Poverty Law Center due to its deeply racist, anti-Semitic, and anti-LGBT rhetoric about its leaders. This is something that he said right here on his Facebook page before it was erased. I am currently now unemployed after I left my job, partly due to afflictions, but ultimately in search of a spiritual journey. He wrote this in his Facebook page, but they wiped it clean. YouTube did. Unfortunately, in this situation, 2 officers were injured. One of those officers passed away. The officer who passed, and I hate that because he's a fellow officer. Those of you who know me know that I was a police officer for 25 years. Police identified the slain officer as William Billy Evans, an 18-year veteran who was a member of the department's first responders unit. Joe Biden said in a statement that he and his wife were heartbroken to learn of the attack and expressed condolences to Evans' family. He directed flags at the White House to be lowered at half staff. Here's where it happened at. The crash happened at the security checkpoint near the Capitol, typically used by senators and staff on the weekend. Though most were away from the building for a current recess, the attack occurred about 100 yards from the entrance of the building on the Senate side of the Capitol. One witness, the Reverend Patrick Mahoney, said he was finishing a Good Friday service nearby when he heard the 3 shots ring out. Okay, why would you even though I guess he's a pastor, they probably have to put that in there for dramatic purposes or something. But here's another thing that upset me. They had to remind you right here. Five people died in the January 6th riot, including a Capitol Police officer, Brian Sitnick, who was among the badly outnumbered force trying to fight off intruders seeking to overturn election. Now, here's the key. This guy right here died of a heart attack at home the next day. If it's not later on that day, it was the next day. He died of a heart attack, so he wasn't killed at the riot. Another thing that happened here, he said they were badly outnumbered, which if you watched the trial, you would know that they were badly outnumbered because they ignored the request to add more officers. They ignored it. It went up the chain and it disappeared. And then they lied about it at the trial. But, a lot of us tend not to look at a lot of those boring trials, but unfortunately I did. I'm retired. I don't have anything else better to do. Anyway, while that was going on, I want you to check this video out.
Yes.
There's a security situation at the U.S. Capitol that I know you're not aware of
Yes.
right now. Can you just remind us, with the president not on campus here, who's with him to brief him on issues? There's a lockdown going on right now. There are reports of gunfire. That's all I know from sitting here. But can you just remind us of, when the president's not here, how he's informed of these things?
Absolutely. I'm not aware, as Kelly acknowledged, of the situation at the Capitol. The President of the United States always travels with a national security rep, of course, with somebody who serves as essentially an acting chief of staff, typically a member of the press team who travels regularly to kind of reconstruct the team that's around him in the White House.
And there have been some changes to the perimeter outside here, with the vice president no longer in residence at the Blair House. Anyone aware if there's any change in posture to the security here at the White House?
For currently, in response to the events right now, I don't have any update, but we will venture to get one for you should there be an impact. Thanks, everyone.
Would you come back out to brief us?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Apparently, the incident occurred while Miss Circleback was at doing a press conference. Well, in this situation, I'm like, don't they normally escort this VIP out of the building or into a safe place in shooting situations? I'm just saying, I'm curious because I don't know all the protocols when it comes to the White House, and I will look that up. But if I'm correct, I believe that she should have been escorted from the podium to a safe area, because just in case it was either distraction to get in there or something like that, you move those people into safety. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I'm curious to know why. Anyway, I digress. Yesterday I did a video on Miss AOC. Now, I said that AOC should stand for another outrageous comment. And I think we should stick that. I think I should use that as a segment for anybody else and call them having their AOC moment. And because of this, AOC rips Ted Cruz types who are crying about the border situation. Yep, she did say that, people. She did say that. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is blasting politicians who have reportedly stricter immigration laws and procedures, who are now decrying the situation at the U.S. border. See, what it is that she feels like no one should cry about what's going on at the border but her. She's the only one that can cry at the border. She's the only one that can mourn a savage, I wouldn't say savage. She could mourn the unfair treatment of immigrants, even though it was a parking lot there and no people were out there. I could see the sadness of the empty parking lot. Those cars should be full. Those parking lots should be full. And then in California, places like California, they allow San Diego public school teachers to give migrant kids in-person instructions before their own students, meaning that us American students, we still have to homeschool their kids, or kids have to do online studies as opposed to have in-person, right here, in-person instructions before their own students. Teachers of San Diego Unified School District are teaching migrant children in person before their own students. The students are currently learning in an online format and are expected to move into a hybrid model on April 12th, where they are learning in a combination of in-person and online formats. Anyway, just wanted to bring those things up to you folks. If you can, hit the like button, pound that like button, slap that like button, whatever you want to do, hit the like button. Comment, share, pass it on, do what you need to do, because we are being censored. As a matter of fact, when it just reminded me, the word censored, my live, which was my first live, I did a test live before, but it wasn't my first one. My first live was pulled. They say it was pulled because of hate speech. In that video, I discussed a certain tennis shoe. You know what I'm talking about. A black tennis shoe with red lettering was featured. Now, I didn't play the video. I didn't do anything. I just felt like, that particular shoe was very unnecessary, especially in this day and age, especially in this era. I showed a couple of pictures and I gave my opinion. YouTube thought that it was hate speech. I didn't say I hated anybody. I don't agree with the theme of the tennis shoe, and I'm not a fan of his. But the direction the tennis shoe is going, it's not a good one. But enough about that, folks. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to let it bother me. But again, subscribe, like, comment, leave a comment. Other than that,